Welcome to Spectrum Perspectives, real talk with parents, professionals, and autism advocates, with your host, Cindy Gellermini.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. In today's episode, we'll continue talking to Christina in part 2 of her interview about her son, Lorenzo. She'll discuss the differences in care in different counties in New Jersey and her ideas how to fix the broken system. So the last question I always ask everybody is, if hypothetically you had a meeting with the governor, a senator, somebody who's a policymaker, what would you tell them needs to change? What needs to be done?
I think we need to reassess the allocation strategy for how we divide and conquer the funds that are being allocated for services. For example, in Middlesex County, there's X, Y, and Z agencies. Why not put together a broad scale, kind of like what Staten Island, Brooklyn, New York do, right? You have the 5 boroughs of New York City. Why not pull that together and divide the funds accordingly so that you have a centralized, I don't want to say repository, but a centralized agency where you could sub out the work to these different areas. And then you don't have the employee turnover. And then you also have funding going towards IEPs so that these kids can live a normal, sustainable gen ed life. No one wants to be ostracized in school and prevented from accelerating and growing. So why not reassess how the funding is done? I think it starts with money, and I'm a money person. So that's the first thing I think.
But it is
Where is
about
the money
that,
going?
because the whole reason that I started my video blog of Robbie was because he turned 21. He went, and there were no day programs. I mean, when they hit 21, everything falls off the face of the earth. And then, so because there's no money for it, and then he ended up in a group home, and the turnover is constant. It's the same thing. It's because it's minimum wage job, and as soon as they get a better offer, they're out, and that's awful for autistic kids that need that, consistency in their life, to constantly have the people in it. And my son was nonverbal, so every new person came in didn't understand him, so he was getting very, very frustrated and upset. And it's always comes down to the money. There's not enough money. People, they're not trained, and they're not paid well. And when my son was diagnosed, it was 5 in 10,000. It was almost unheard of. And within that 30-year period, now you've got 1 in 32 kids all have autism. So what happens when kids your son's age, or the 5-year-olds, the 7, 8-year-olds, the 10-year-olds, what happens when they all turn 21?
Right.
And I just think that since New Jersey has the highest instances of autism in this state, they should be the first ones to move on this. What are you going to do? Because it's going to be a tsunami that's going to hit when these kids all turn 21. They're going to need help and services, and the money. They should hire you.
I would love them to. You want to give this video to the governor? Tell him to call me. I would love to.
Yeah, I mean, really, because
even just to help.
Problem. The money needs to go to help these kids. If 1 in 32 kids in New Jersey all have autism, that to me is a bigger pandemic than COVID.
I'm with you there. And you bring up this, so we say that we share the same thoughts, right? We have all this funding that goes around, and not to say it's wasted, but you have the same problem in New York City. You have a mental health crisis, right? Why do you have a mental health crisis? They turn minimum wage to $15, so you could go get a job in McDonald's, or you could be a home health aide and work in an agency and make $15. Right. Where are people going to work, right? We have to really look at the funding. If I'm paying 10 grand in taxes and I'm paying for garbage separately, where is the money going? Why is the money being pulled and reallocated outside of the town that you live in? Where is the cash going? And yes, there are disparities no matter what. You're not going to please everybody. You got people here that have been here 60 years who put their kids through school and feel they should get a tax break. Well, that's why New York City implemented the STARS exemption, right? Where you get a break on X amount of dollars, where you get a tax break. A small one. It's something. But I'm saying, there has to be a better way. We need to have control. You need a Scotch stringer in Jersey. You need somebody that could look at these books and say, where is the money going? And you need our politicians to have empathy. And I think that's the problem. In today's political climate, I'm not going to say anything more to that, but there's no empathy from lawmakers. And that helps people lose faith. And look, guess what? You got all that New York money from Staten Island. That is the working middle class coming here. If you want to retain the right people, the people that work and give back and pay taxes, you need to do something with that money to help people feel like they're getting their money's worth. Or you're going to lose everybody to Texas and Florida. Because that's my next move.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Or the Carolinas is another one.
Yeah, exactly. Right. We're not going to stay here.
No, no.
Then
And
you'll be in a bigger deficit, right? So give back to your people.
I always say it takes someone that has a kid with autism before something will happen, you know? And I remember when Christie was running for governor years ago, I remember reading something in the newspaper that he did something with kids with disabilities. I don't remember what it was, if it was a relative or something. And then I thought, oh, yay, finally something will be done. And nothing
Yeah,
was done.
sure.
And so, you know, one of the other interviews I did was with a mom that when her son was 15, the school literally came in and told all the parents, listen, when your kids turn 21, there's nothing out there for them. So you're going to have to do something. So the moms all
Wow.
got together, they started their own foundation, these 6 women, and they started a foundation. They raised almost $200,000 and they started their own day program. And that's how it gets done. You know, it's like,
Leave it to the moms.
yeah, it's the moms, you know? So I don't know, maybe we need people in government that are moms that have autistic kids.
Oh, again, back to diversity and inclusion. Maybe that's what we need. We need project managers, leaders, people that are driven to see change. I'm a change manager, so I love change. You know, um, we need people like that
Yeah,
that could get it done.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
There's
That's what,
just we have to stop the roadblocks, right? Services should be readily available. There should be no disparities for income, whether you make $10 an hour or $300 an hour,
right,
right? We need to be inclusive.
right, right. It should be available to everyone.
Yeah, and it should be a state-funded program that sets the tone so that other states follow, and it keeps New Jersey a great place to live, right?
Mhm. So I just talked to someone the other day too that has an autism center in a hospital. Have you been to any of those places? Do you
Oh,
know of
well,
them?
let's talk about hospitals in New Jersey for a moment. My favorite topic since I've been a patient in every one
Yeah,
of them.
because you've had every medical
Because I've been in all of them.
possibly go on.
So in 2019, I was hospitalized 5 times. One was my own decision, and the others, as you know, my pregnancy and all that. In terms of my son, trying to get him a developmental pediatrician, not a neurologist, it's such a for-profit industry. Let me explain. I was given 3 different doctors' names. One doctor was down in Ocean County, which is nowhere near Old Bridge, where I live.
Mhm.
And that doctor wanted $1,500 for me to bring my son and wanted me to go through the insurance to try to get reimbursed. So not only am I doing the work, but now I'm working the insurance.
Right,
So
right,
I'm paying you to assess my kid.
right.
If
And how long did it take you to even get in to see the doctor?
Oh, that was the best part. The next available was May. May,
From when did you call to make the appointment?
2 weeks ago when I wrote on the post.
Okay. Oh, so,
So
all right. So a couple of months, because I've had people that have to wait 3 years to get in with a doctor. But that was in Pennsylvania, which was,
so
that's,
New York City, thank God for New York. Thank God. I have a doctor that I got in February 25th.
okay. Oh, that's why that's when you think you'll get the diagnosis on the 25th because you have an appointment that day.
Yeah. And the other thing with New Jersey, even more fun, I called another hospital which specializes in care of children, and they have a whole institute around children that have diagnosis or developmental delays. They wanted me to do a virtual appointment, pay out of pocket, submit for reimbursement, and I would have had to pay the similar amount of money. I don't remember the dollar amount, but for a virtual appointment. How can you make a proper diagnosis without face-to-face interaction with my child?
Hmm. Right. So you haven't tried to see a pediatric neurologist?
I am on February 25th.
Oh, that's who you're seeing. Okay, so it's not a developmental pediatrician, it's a neurologist.
They're both in the same office. So you see I prefer the developmental neurologist, but if I wanted the neurologist, pediatric, but if I wanted the developmental pediatrician, they're there too.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And that's on Staten Island.
Oh, that's in Staten Island you're going. Right.
Gotta go home.
Yeah. I'm really shocked that New York has better care than New Jersey, but
Don't be. You don't realize how great New York is until you leave.
yeah,
With
I
everything.
guess I just see it as being so many people in New York. Like, how can they possibly, you know? But I mean, there's a lot of people in New Jersey too. But I don't know.
It's different though, right? Staten Island is 600,000 people, but they all work. That's the thing, right? They're all tax-paying, working. Manhattan, you have pockets where there's a lot of wealth and a lot of poverty. There is that concept of middle class is non-existent.
Mhm.
That could change, right? New York right now is going through a period of transformation, right? I could be a historian on the city. I lived everywhere there. But the thing is, you don't know how the tax funding is going to, because of the political climate and the lack of care for the mayor. People don't really care for de Blasio.
Mhm.
You don't know what's going to happen with that funding, right? They're missing money for Thrive. That was supposed to be for mental health awareness. And you got more lunatics running around on the subway than you ever have in your life. You know, you have this period of lawlessness. Right now, services are free, but even property taxes in Staten Island, I look every day at houses. The cost of real estate is so high, the taxes have gone up. But as of a year and a half ago, when I lived there, your taxes were nothing. You got exemptions. You got the government services. You had universal pre-K for 3 and 4 for all. You had lunches, sliding scale free lunches and food during the pandemic. So they do put that money towards the people. That's what's missing in Jersey.
How come you moved to New Jersey?
My husband.
I thought you were going to say since COVID you moved. Because I used to have my real estate license and I gave it up in January, like 2 months before.
No,
right before everybody wanted
as you could tell, I didn't want to move. And there's reasons I didn't want to move. But my husband wanted my son to have a yard and a fence. And if he wanted to go to North Jersey, I worked in North Jersey when we were going in the office. I had nobody up there. I probably should have did that. But I would have been crying in Bergen County. Taxes are way higher than what I'm paying. And Sundays, the stores are closed. And that was like my only free day to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's from Bayonne. Like I said, I'm Brooklyn and Staten Island.
Right.
To get a house that I have here would cost me $1 million there. But the taxes are lower. And to be honest, the quality of life is a lot better there. Because your son would have the opportunity to do things.
What, in North Jersey?
North Jersey or in New York.
Or New York, yeah. So what's life like now? You working
Chaotic.
from home?
I work from home. I'm paying for daycare. I'm praying I keep my job. I'm trying to better myself by going to school at night. I still go to New York for all my doctors because I have such many, many, many health issues. I don't want to switch my physicians. So yeah, it's chaos. It's definitely challenging being married.
So what is your so tell me more about your son. So he's 20 months old now. Is he saying any words or no?
He was, but he'll say them and then he loses them. He says hi repetitively. That's about it. He was saying hi, dada. He stopped saying dada. He was saying baba. Stopped saying baba.
Right. Like how long ago do you think that you noticed that he stopped saying it?
About 3-4 weeks ago. He'll say it, then he'll stop. He'll say it, and then he'll stop.
Okay. Yeah. That's why that happened to me with my son. He was about 2 years, 3 months, because he would say something really only kind of when he was upset. And then if he was happy, he had no need to speak. And then at 2 years, 3 months, I was like, it was March. And I said, I don't think I've heard him say anything since Christmas, but it was hard to keep track of. And then that's when I talked to a speech therapist and I said, I don't think he's talked in 3 months. She's like, what? You need to get him evaluated right away. But if I didn't have that conversation, I wouldn't have known because my pediatrician kept telling me there was nothing wrong with him. He's fine.
Yeah.
So do any kind of behaviors where any kind of flapping, any kind of, does he hit himself, any of that kind of stuff?
No, he when he's excited, he does this.
Yeah.
But they said that's age appropriate. A lot of people have been telling me that's age appropriate at this age. I don't know. That's why I'm concerned. And I'm bringing him to
telling you that?
The pediatrician said he could be autistic. And then she said the occupational therapist said some kids do this when they're excited, whether they're autistic or not.
Okay.
It could be sensory.
Right. Right. Does he, what about when he eats? Is he picky about what he eats?
No, he loves to eat.
Oh, good.
He's starting to get picky though. If we introduce a new food to him, he'll throw it off his tray. But then if I am consistent and go, you have to try this, then he'll do it.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. So, but like tantrums, does he get like frustrated a lot?
Yeah, but I'm learning behavioral modifications to help that. He's actually a really happy kid. He smiles all the time. He rolls his tongues. He blows raspberries. It's like he's almost trying to say the words, and I just think
Well,
he
that's
needs
where
a
the
little.
chances come from, is because they get frustrated because they can't communicate. So how does
Yeah,
he communicate to you?
it's different every day. Sometimes he'll do up,
Hmm.
put his hands up, and I'll know he wants to get up.
Hmm.
Um, sometimes,
To be held.
sometimes,
Hmm.
yeah, if he wants to be held, he'll do this.
Right.
And then I'll just model up, up. If I have him in the pack and play, I'll say out,
Right.
and he'll put his hands up.
Right. Do they have you try sign language with him?
He won't do it. But that's the fine motor delay. His hands are weak still.
Right. Well, my
He'll
son,
do,
they did modified
yeah.
signs with him, like help is this, and that was too complicated. So they said he just did this, and he just smacked himself, and that was easier. That was help.
Oh, that's good to know. I'm gonna try that.
Yeah, and eat is kind of easy. Like he wouldn't make like the cup sign or anything that, but he could smack himself in the chin. You know, that's easy. Eat, drink was the same thing. Yes, no,
Yeah, he won't. He says no sometimes.
but he
He'll
would
shake
say he
his
would get confused.
Yeah.
Yes and the no. But I'm trying to think what else. It was pretty much just eat, help, yes and no. That was pretty much all he could master because he didn't have he couldn't do it either with the fingers.
Well, that's what we're working on now, and we definitely he's playing with his toys better. So I see the help helps, right? The consistency is key, and we've sacrificed so many things in our life to help get him to that age appropriated level.
Right.
He's social, he's happy, he's great around other children. That's so important.
Yeah.
But now, when we have a circle, a group of friends that we feel safe around during COVID, where we'll bring him around other kids his age, and he plays properly. Now, starting to.
Right. He doesn't like get up and walk away.
No, he's interested in toys. He's interested in Sesame Street. He loves Elmo. You could tell his likes and his dislikes. He likes the farm, the animals, the music. He's musically inclined. So I think the help is helping. But we need more. We need more. We need to unify as a state and make this the best state in America that offers the right services to everybody.
Right.
At
So
a nominal
in a
cost.
perfect world, what would that be for you? Like what would you love to have him have like daily?
I think that we need more sensory centers. And I think we need one, you have Liberty Science Center. We need something similar in each of the counties, and we need them to be a group, a unit, right? So that if people need services, we have a central point of location, right? In each county. I think we need to make these jobs state funded, right? So that people are enticed to work for an agency, right? You could have satellite agencies like these places I was telling you guys about in Monmouth County, Middlesex County. But if you make that part of a state-run facility where the funding is coming from the state and it's consistent and these people are paid a pay scale where they feel rewarded by their job, again, that all goes back to empathy from our elected officials, right? Make this number one and watch the movement,
Right.
You want to see money come into the state? Offer the services. Offer federal services.
Right. Right. That would be great.
I think so. I would love to help them.
Yeah. And have people have like a, I don't know.
An outlet.
My husband and my daughter both work for their borough employees, and they have a pension and they have insurance and all that stuff. And it's always, that was always the benefit to being a government employee, but I hope but there's always talk about doing away with that. We start getting government people that want to eventually do away with pensions. Then what's your incentive to even working?
Well, that's the same thing with the hospitals. You're 100% right. Look at all these people that live here in Jersey and work in New York City. Why? Because guess what? They're unionized hospitals. Why would a nurse work here for Hackensack where they have to pay out of pocket for their health insurance and it's costing them more than they can make? We have to use our heads a little better.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Go to nursing school and learn a new
hospital and have to pay for your own health insurance again.
Well, you pay out of pocket more than if you were like in a union, right?
Right. Wow. Yeah,
look at the garbage. I'm paying for garbage. That's ridiculous.
Well, not every town. You don't pay for garbage in my town, but the town next door to me, they pay for garbage.
But this is the thing, right? That's the stuff that New Jersey is missing. Why are we not inclusive? It should be one for all and all for one, right? Why is this town do it this way? This town does it that way. This town does it this way. Look at the COVID tracking. We're be so much easier if we just had one central point of contact for everything, right? Look at this. You could get the numbers for Old Bridge, but you can't get them for Manalp, and you have to go on the patch. You got to go on NJ.com. No, everything should be in one spot.
Well, COVID, it hasn't even really been a year yet for them to pull that nonsense together. But this,
Right.
with the autism's been going on for a while. Like, let's get with the ball now. Let's go. Let's go.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I'll tell them that they should give you a job. How about that?
Go for it. Give them my number.
All right. All right. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
How long have you been married?
Married almost 3 years.
Because your husband, he sounds like a good guy. You guys have been through a lot together.
Oh yeah. When I write my book,
Yeah, right.
don't be me.
Right? Yeah. Well, it's Valentine's Day. Go spend it with your husband. Tell him happy.
Bye. Take care.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
That's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed listening and it helped you gain a new perspective. To see the video version of the show, go to our YouTube channel, Robbie and Me, Autism Reality. If you're interested in buying our book series, Robbie's World and His Spectrum of Adventures, the link will be in our episode description, as well as my Instagram and Facebook pages. If you enjoyed the show and you'd like more content, please be sure to hit that like button, follow us, and don't forget to leave us a great review. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to join us again on our next episode of Spectrum Perspectives.